Delphi Rally Estonia. It's time for round 4 of the FIA European Rally Championship, and the former WRC round has got all kinds of different stories, all kinds of different narratives to follow. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the runners and riders, breaking down the itinerary, and then also having a look at some of the ones to watch. And let's start off with the stages, because while some of them might be familiar to people who have been following the WRC the past few editions, or even the old candidate event Shell Helix Rally Estonia, there are some subtle differences and some big differences to some of the stages as well. So for example, the opening stage, Super Special in Tartu, is closest to the 2020 WRC version, though there's a different final couple of corners. So instead of turning right off at the first part of the little loop section, you follow it back around to the left and then take the right off at the next bit. Still same ending point, just a couple of different roads instead. The Saturday stages, because remember this is a 3-day event, starts on Friday night, then it's Saturday and Sunday for the full-length days. Saturday stages run pretty much the same as the previous WRC versions, but of course these stages sometimes are used on Saturday, sometimes they are used on Friday, the previous editions of the WRC event in Rally Estonia. But on the Sunday is where it changes a bit. Some of the roads are the same as in other WRC editions, but there are some changes. So for example, Atepa, which is stages 11 and 13, uses some new roads, and it looks very strange if you compare it over some applications such as Rally Maps. Cambia, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's stage 12 and 14, so it serves the end of Rally Power Stage. Borrows from stage of the same name, but also borrows from the stage of the Ruti, which also has been in Rally Estonia before, so it's actually a little bit longer than what you'd usually expect, and it means it's going to be a long power stage, which is quite interesting, especially considering, like, in comparison, the WRC one around Mikowaiki the other day. And actually, when you look at the entry list, there are some people that you've seen return from Mikowaiki doing back-to-back events. Overall, the entry list has 20 seated Rally 2 cars, and then you also have Sergei Uga, the Israeli athlete, or Israeli licensed athlete, in an old spec R5 Fiesta, entered under the number 46 on the list. I believe in total there are 51 entries on the entry list. The top 3 are obviously the people up to the front of the championship: Hayden Paddon, Matthew Franceschi, Simona Tempestini. And it's great to see Tempestini back. Franceschi, of course, had the heartbreaking crash at the end of the Royal Rally of Scandinavia. Fantastic form over the first couple of events, but just that one mistake. Paddon, of course, has had 2 punches from the first 3 power stages, and him and Franceschi are coming into this tied on points. After that, the people in terms of next seeding are Ostberg, Heikkila, Marchik, Armstrong, Mabellini, Larsen, and Sesks. With Frank Torre Larsen being someone quite interesting because it's his second round of the season. I believe this is his first round outside of Scandinavia since 2019 in terms of any kind of rallying. I think he competed in an event in Germany in 2019. Before that, it was the junior ERC entry he had for the Azores in 2018. And that was just something that I picked up going through EWRC results while preparing for this video. In addition to this, there are one-off entries in the championships, the likes of Robert Vevej, Jörg Linnemey, Nikolai Grajin, Gregor Yates, and Yuki Yamamoto. Now, there are some reasons why these have happened, and I'll get onto them a little bit more when it comes to ones to watch, but a lot of these people are WRC2 regulars, but of course Vevej, Linnemey, and Yates are Estonian drivers, so obviously you're going to compete in their home round, a bit like what you've seen in Royal Rally of Scandinavia, or in Itinerary. You saw it a bit in Hungary as well, but it's what I love about the ERC is you have a look through these entries and you're like, oh, this person's from the National Championship. And it's just something that's awesome, and it's something I wish we saw more at the WRC, but we don't see it at the moment because of how expensive Rally 1s are. But this is why I've always been beat to the drum about the ERC anyways. In addition to that, we have 8 Rally 3s. 6 of them are entered for the Fiesta Trophy. One of them is in a Renault, but one of them is also a non-trophy entered Fiesta. One of the people who stood out there as a one-off in the Fiesta Trophy for this is Romain Jurgensen, Estonian. At the same time, the current JWRC points leader. He's also an FIA rally starter. He's one of those sim racers who has gotten up into the real world of rallying. There are also 15 Rally 4 entrants. 13 of them are entered for the ERC Junior, the one that's powered by Hankook tyres. Now, in terms of the ones to watch, I would argue the top 6 seeds are the people you want to watch the most. So, Padden, Franceschi, Tempestini, Ostberg, Heikkila, and Marcek. Because these are the people who are going to be your main title contenders. Of course, people like Mabellini have performed well before. People like Sesks have had rotten luck this season. But those top 6 seeds at the moment are the people who are making the lead title battle. In addition to that, drivers who have prior experience in Rally Estonia, even if the stages are a bit different. So Hayden Padden, for example, Mika Heikkila, who competed in 2021, Mika Marcek, Martin Sesks, who also competed in 2021. And these people who are doing these things with their WRC2 cars and using it as tests for Liepāja in the WRC, which is in a couple of weeks' time. So Sesks, I would say, is not one of these, even though he's just coming out of having done Pony. He is going to be doing Liepāja as well. He's doing them in a Rally 1 machine. So this is more for the ERC Championship than for any kind of Liepāja experience. But Heikkila, Linnamai, Grosjean, Vivez, and Yeats are going to be using it for WRC2 experience. Grosjean's probably the one to keep an eye out the most for, because he's the one who's currently trying to build up a strong challenge in the WRC2. So I would say that that is going to be something to keep an eye out for, because they're not necessarily going to set the world on fire. They're probably going to be doing some testing, but you can expect them to be competitive. At the end of the day, they are competitive for WRC2. In addition to that, some of the other people that you could look out for are the likes of Yamamoto and Saman Korhola, because they might be using it for Finland testing. At the same time, the likes of Jurgensen and Philip Kern might use it for WRC3 and JWRC testing as well. Another person to keep an eye out for in the trophy is Kerem Kazaz, who is entered in Liepāja for the WRC3 category, but not for anything else. As far as I'm aware, of course, entry lists for Finland aren't all out yet. But of course, these are only my thoughts and my reflections. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.